Hello and welcome to the Omakecast. This episode is quite a special one because we're talking about a movie that is very special to me anyway. I'm also here with two other people who also, I think this movie is very special to them. So I'm here with the usual host, Rob, if you want to say hello.
What's up? How's it going, guys?
And then I'm also here with my friend Luis, who runs a YouTube channel. He does gaming-related videos, but then we talk quite a bit about anime, and he's quite a big fan of this film, so I thought I'd invite him on for this episode. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I like romance, and this is a good movie. You should watch it.
So I'm just going to start out by talking about like a bit of my history with this movie. Since I saw this movie a lot earlier than most people, it was a bit later than in Japan, but I saw it like, I believe October, November time at Leeds Film Festival. So I saw it a bit early, and I was sort of on this hype train because it's directed by my favorite director of all time, Naoko Yamada, who's done things like K-On! And Tamako Market. So I've always loved this director and what she's done, and I've always just been excited for this project. So seeing it before a lot of people was really good, but then I've sort of had to have this like period of like 6-7 months of where I couldn't really spoil the film to anyone or talk about it to anyone. Like, I could talk about it to manga readers, but then the film does quite differentiate itself with the manga quite a bit. So I know that, like, me and Rob, when we're being calls, I'd, like, want to talk about it and be like, dude, you're about to spoil it. Don't spoil it. So it's things like that I've just been like, I'm just so glad to finally, like, talk about this film.
Yeah, I know that feel.
I just watched this movie like a week ago.
Yeah,
he's been like badgering me to watch this movie for a very long, like months. Finally got around to it.
I saw it back when did it come out to the UK iTunes store? Like a month and a half ago?
A few weeks ago.
But yeah, I watched the film when it came out to the UK iTunes store. But I totally get your feelings of having to wait, because that was me with Kimi no Na wa last year. It was like from July to April. I just could not talk about it. Yeah,
because you saw it at Anime Expo, didn't you?
Yeah, and there's no manga for that, so that was brutal.
Oh, well, now there is. They actually are releasing a Your Name manga pretty soon here in the US.
So it's out already, but it came out after the movie.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's just like seeing how this film has sort of like blown up now it's on like the top 10 on my anime list. It just makes me like very happy that it's getting the recognition it deserves, because like shows like K-On! They've had their fan bases. Like K-On! Is on like forums like 4chan and things like that, it's always praised as a masterpiece, but then in like sort of places like my anime list, it's like ranked like, I think the first season's like under an 8 out of 10, and it's just like, come on. It's a lot better than that, and it's really good just to see Naoko Yamada, one of my favourite directors, just getting sort of the appreciation she deserves, and she's just cranked out masterpiece after masterpiece, and this is definitely one of them.
I vibe with it. Well, the thing I didn't expect to vibe with was the music, because like right off the bat, like you hear an American song right at the beginning of the movie, and that totally caught me off guard.
Yeah. Same. I didn't think that was like legitimate at first. I was like really confused.
Yeah, but I believe the song is My Generation by The Who, and I love how it just has this like pure like raw essence of like childhood rebellion in it, and it's sort of,
it's definitely fitting.
Yeah, and it's also fitting that Naoki Yamada's always been a big fan of like rock music, specifically The Who, because at the end of the K-On! Movie there was a reference to where, I believe it's on one of The Who's album covers, where all the band members are wrapped up in like the Union Jack flag, and then there's references to that at the end of the K-On! Movie, and then I believe in Tamako Market, where there's like the record shop, there's one of The Who albums in the background. So it is sort of like a recurring theme in her films to present like all this like rock music. I mean, even if you look at K-On!, the entire show is about like rock music. All the characters are inspired by several rock stars. I believe Ritsu's favorite drummer is one of the drummers from The Who. So it is really interesting to see like this director's recurring themes come back in throughout like her different works.
Yeah, because I actually haven't seen K-On! Yet. So this is, I think, no, actually, I've seen Tamako Market before, so this is my second, I guess, work from her.
Yeah. Did you like Tamako Market?
Yeah, I loved it.
Did you watch Love Story yet or not?
No, I've seen the series, but not the final.
Oh my god, man, you're like a romance guy. How have you not seen Love Story yet?
I was watching it during college, and college is busy.
Yeah, I mean, Love Story, it's actually interesting because she storyboarded the entire thing herself. So even though I'd say it's the project from her that I like the least. It's not bad. It's not bad by any means. It's just doesn't. I just don't think it compares to things like K-On! I personally don't think it compares to the original series, but a lot of people do like it better. I just don't really think it fits the tone of the original series. The series is like very much like a comfy slice of life, and then the movie sort of takes it out of that comfiness, turns it into like a dramatic, like romance thing. What isn't bad. I just don't think it fits the tone of the series very well. But then I think for something like you, it seems like it would be really in your alley with the way it like changes the tone of the series. Also, it takes out the bird, and the bird is the most annoying character in that show.
No, yeah, I completely agree. But I had originally I watched the first 10 minutes of the film, and then my roommate had told me there was a series, so stopped and went back to go watch the series. I didn't haven't watched the actual film yet.
Nice.
I'm always like that with anime series, like movies or anime series that has like movies at the end of them. I never get. That happened to me with Madoka Magica and Evangelion. I've yet to watch Evangelion.
I haven't seen the recap Madoka movies, but I've heard they're a lot better. But I've seen like the sequel movies. I don't know why you're like that. It's not that hard. You've spent like
I know. It's just like, oh, this show, it's over. Forget about the movie.
No, I'm the same way. I saw the series. I haven't watched the movies. I heard that some of them are recaps, some of them are like a true continuation. I'm just lazy to get them and watch them.
Yeah, so back on to Koe no Katachi. Probably like one of my favorite things about it, and Yamada's work in general, well, not really Tamako Market since it's original, but with K-On! And Koe no Katachi, is that they sort of... A lot of people argue that the manga for Koe no Katachi is better than the film. I would argue otherwise. It's a lot of things like how the film is sort of restructured and doesn't really hold your hand as much as the manga. So I like how the film starts out showing showing Shoya's attempted suicide, when the manga doesn't really do that. So I think you sort of get empathy for Shoya from the start. When I think in the manga, you just sort of see him being, like, a dick. And then it's sort of... I don't feel like he's obviously sympathetic, but I feel like it's sort of portrayed more how he's quite, like, a sad character in the film. And I think that's through, like, the body language that he comes off with. And I also feel like in the film, like... You've always seen it in the manga how his design was supposed to be, like, hedgehog-like. So he's, like, very much... people can't really get close to him because he just pushes them away. So I feel like that is very much how it's always been in the manga, but I feel like that was very much put across better in the film just by his movements, how he looks like aggressive with his spiky hair, but he's still like very gentle, and I think that's very much like a hedgehog. So a lot of things like that I do feel like were put across better in the film.
Yeah, especially when he gets older, because when he's older he still has the same hair, but he seems more like a... How can I describe it? More like I would say like the Iron Giant, where he's still really tall compared to everybody else, but he's like really fragile and shy, keeps to himself, doesn't like to talk to people.
Yeah, I also feel like that's put across by like his hand gestures as well. Like he's always like in the film, he's always like doing something with his hands, and it just shows that he doesn't really. He just sort of feels like he's taken away from society, because that's sort of even though what he did was totally his fault and he's facing the repercussions for it, it's just showing how they have sort of cast him out and he doesn't really know what to do. And I think that's sort of reflected on what he's doing with his hands and like how he just feels like so out of everything.
Yeah, he's either always fidgeting with both of his hands, or when he's speaking to somebody one-to-one, he has his hand behind his head.
Yeah, I did notice that a lot.
Yeah, so, something more interesting, I think, is that someone pointed out, I think it was a viewer of mine, randomly in one of my videos, was saying they were watching the film from the UK iTunes store, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Shoya, what's her name again? I totally spacing out her name.
Shoya?
Her first name.
Shoko.
Shoya, yeah.
Shoko. Yeah.
But she's more deaf in one ear than the other, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so if you watch the film with headphones on, you'll notice that like one earbud plays music or sounds louder than the other.
Wait, really?
Whoa, that's
when
awesome.
she's speaking.
Okay,
When she tries to speak.
because I actually haven't seen the film at home. I bought the Japanese Blu-ray. I haven't watched it because it hasn't got English subtitles on it. But I want to try it out now because I've only seen it in cinemas where I've either sat on like one side of the room or the other side, so I probably haven't really noticed it.
Yeah, I've only seen it on like my computer and then on like my TV screen. But someone pointed it out. I'm like, oh, that's a cool like little touch. That like something you would only see in the film if you really paid attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was really impressed by the sound design in the film. I mean, I'm obviously just going to go back to K-On! For all of this because it's like my second favourite anime of all time and I have a lot to say about K-On! But K-On! Is also a show with excellent sound design where they synced up all the instruments to how they would sound in real life and they made the rooms be how... So if they were playing in like a giant hall, they made the music sound like it would be playing from a giant hall. If they were in like the light music club room, they'd account the music for the room and what the floor is like. So I think that is something of Yamada and Kyoto Animation in general, where they sort of have the resources to put that much like effort into even simple things. Like I wouldn't think K-On! Would be a better show or a worse show if it didn't have that, but it just sort of helps with, I wouldn't really say the immersion because I don't really get like immersed in these types of like film things, but it's like it helps with the just sort of making you feel grounded in the universe.
Yeah, I guess especially with like the characters and their like, because Japan's like it varies on the prefecture too, so you kind of have to be situated into like the area the film takes place into, not just the country, I guess.
Yeah, and what I did really like is how the setting of the film, it all felt like very distant. Like, everything felt like it was all apart from Shoya until people started coming into his life, and then it sort of ended with this, like, big, dense, like, I can't think of the word, theme park. So, like, everything always seemed so far away from him. Like, he was always in these, like, small parts of town and things like that. And then when, like, all these people started coming back into his life, and everything just started, like, getting crazy. And that's what I sort of think that the theme park was sort of there to represent. Like, how things were getting, like, not out of hand, but, like, he doesn't know how to handle it because he doesn't have these types of, like, social skills.
Another thing like that is his bedroom. If you look at his bedroom, it's empty at the beginning. Fills up.
Yeah, isn't it like literally like a box that's a table and that's about it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's like I don't think he even has a door. It's like a curtain.
Yeah, I mean, I get why he doesn't have like a futon or anything like that because he sold it all. But like, how can you sell a door?
Yeah, because I remember I think his mother or sister comes in and like she just comes in through a curtain.
Doesn't he live on like? Not it's not even like a renovated attic. It's not even like a renovated attic. It's just like the attic.
It's an empty attic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it is sort of weird to see like his lifestyle situation because he just lives on like the side of the salon as well. Like it. I always think that, and I'm gonna go back to K-On! Like a million times, but I thought that K-On! Did a really weirdly good job of presenting like poverty in the way that its characters in the way that like Ritsu and Mio, they are sort of presented as having this like sort of they know how to get by. When you're in Ritsu's house, she just has like her dad's clothes like on the side, and that seemed weird to Mugi. And Mugi is the complete opposite of Ritsu, where Mugi is like completely rich. She tries to fit in even though she's so rich that she can't. Like she's never been to like a McDonald's before. So it's things like that where I feel like small things like how like the wealth divide between these characters is sort of shown is there. It's small things like this that sort of help me get invested in a movie and help me get invested in the characters, because when you rewatch you see more and more, and it just helps the world feel more real and the world that they live in feel more like believable as a living, breathing world, rather than just like, oh, this is just a story.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely, because Koe no Katachi, I think, is a film that I liked the more I watched it, because when I first watched it, it had been a while since I read the manga.
Yeah.
So I skimmed through the manga again after the first time I watched the film. And I went back to see or try to find differences between the two pieces of work, and then that's like small touches like the fact that when the mothers interact with each other, because when the kids are small and they're bullying each other or fighting,
Yeah.
you see their parents interact, and I don't think this is in the manga, but like you see the girl's mom rip the earring off. Is it Shoko's mom's earring or ear?
So it's Shoko's mom ripped Shoya's mom's earring off.
Yeah. And so that's not in the manga at all.
Yeah, and it's also things like how I think the fight, like, you know, where Shoko sort of punches Shoya. I think that is just handled like it's just handled so poorly in the manga. Like, she just straight up like sucker punches him, and like his nose is just bleeding everywhere. And I do just think that stuff like that was done for shock value. When I think even though it was like so gory and so brutal, I feel like it was a lot more uncomfortable in the film, even though there isn't even like any blood shown or nothing like that. But it's just seeing how like Shoko uses her mouth, she bites him, and that's like the only way that she can defend herself. And I feel like that's also like mirroring how she can't speak. It's irony how she's using her mouth to defend herself against him. So it's things like that that just means so much more to me in the film than in the manga. What doesn't really have as much complexity. The manga is very like the panel composition in the manga is very like beautiful. Like there's this I think Pause and Select did a great video about it where he showed a bunch of the scenes. There's one where two characters like sitting and they're divided by the tree, and it shows the divide in them, and stuff like that's a lot to love in there. But to me, there just isn't like enough in way of the characters and what tells you about the characters. That's what I really love about the film.
I think another point is that like, so I originally saw this in English subtitled through the UK, but I saw it in Japanese completely. And I think something was cool to hear was just her speak like sort of gibberish, because I read the mangas translated into English, and I think the way they showcase her speaking was like they'd either have like really weird romanji, like where like letters would be missing, or like I believe there was a specific page in the manga where like words were just gone. Yeah.
What translation did you see for like the Suki thing? Did you see like, because I've saw like fan translations, because I skipped through like the first initial like fan stuff that came out.
Whatever the UK iTunes account has.
Yeah, because like one of the fan subs was horrible. It's like, I think it said like I love Woo or something like that for it, when that was
I didn't bother.
Yeah, like that to me, because it's not really representative of what the line really is. So it's I think the one that I saw in cinemas that said I like you was more representative of what the line.
Yeah, she was trying to say Daisuke.
Was she?
No, because she was trying to say Daisuke, which means like I really like you.
Yeah.
But she said ski.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do think a good localization did need to go into this film to make it work for Western audiences, and that's what I sort of got to give props to the localization for. But at least the localizations that I saw, I guess if you watch a different one, it could be completely different, and your interpretation of the film could be completely different, because getting Nishima's dialogue right is very important to the context of everything in the film, and that's something that's very hard to be put through with subtitles.
No, yeah, definitely. So I'm interested to see who's localizing it here in America, because it's been so long and we still haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see. I'm curious to see what company's actually gonna pick
at this point. I'm feeling it's like a surprise thing at Crunchyroll's Expo that they're doing in San Fran, because like they're not even doing that at AX, which I have no idea why.
Well, what my theory is that it's Pony Canyon, because Pony Canyon owned the film in Japan. But then Pony Canyon USA aren't doing too good, because they're trying to go with the Aniplex model of making like the whole like expensive Blu-rays. But I just think the shows that they're putting across aren't that like enticing. Like all the ones that Aniplex have, like the Fate series, Arrays, Sword Art Online, they're all loved by like thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. So there's a lot of fans of those series willing to pay the $100-$200 to get those series. Like Fate, the Fate fan base is insane. Luis, you bought you bought the Erased box set, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the fan bases for those series are like insane. But then I think the ones that Pony Canyon, the only ones that they've really put across that I've really been like, even though I'm in the UK, I can't even get these anyway, that I've really like, that's worth buying is Hibike Euphonium. Other than that, they don't really have that much, and because of that, I don't think they're doing that well financially. So I just don't think they're in the financial position to put across like a big film like this and market it properly and things like that. So that's why I think it's delayed. I'm not sure if it will go to someone like Funimation, but I think it's just too late now to get, like, in theaters in America. I don't think it will get much because people have just went on Kiss Anime to get it anyway.
No, yeah, definitely. I think the same thing would happen with Kimi no Na wa because Funimation lied to put that out, and then by the time that came out, everyone had seen it already.
Yeah. I just think people get tired of waiting because I think people do want to support the things. At least some people do. But if you can't support it, you can't really blame them for just going to find it somewhere else just to be in on the discussion.
Shout out to Netflix and Little Witch Academia.
Yeah, well,
that's ridiculous, and we're only getting one. Isn't that right?
No, we're getting the entire thing.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, 4 more days now. 4 more days until we get it.
4 more days until we'll binge watch.
Do you guys get it too? Well, because we're in the US, we're getting it for sure. Does the UK get it at the same time?
It's on UK Netflix, like the preview page is up for it, so if we don't, I'm suing Netflix. False advertisement. But yeah, I do think there is a bigger discussion to have with licenses and how they release their film and how they release especially things like films, but then it is also relevant with TV anime as well. There's things like Amazon Prime in America with their, what's their service called there?
Anime Strike.
Yeah.
Anime Strike.
Yeah, it's things like that where you shouldn't need to pay $14 to get access to exclusive anime. It should just be its own service. And I think
the fact that I have to pay an extra money on top of my $90 Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Complete bullshit.
It's stupid things like that where I think, and I think not only is it sort of shooting consumers in the foot, but it's also shooting the shows that they pick up in the foot as well. Because I think people do deserve to see Koi no Katachi in cinemas. I think people do deserve to see things like, is Recreators exclusive to Amazon Strike?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so it's things like Recreators, it's shows like that I think people deserve to see. But then putting them behind a $90 plus whatever dollar a month the subscription service is, paywall, stuff like that is just stopping people from seeing these things. And then people are just not going to watch them. They're either not going to watch them or they're just going to pirate them. Either way, whatever little support that Amazon Strike would give the people who made that show, it's not going to them. It's going to whoever makes Kiss Anime or Nya or whatever. So I think that is not only unfair to the consumers, but also unfair to the productions themselves and the people who worked on the productions.
Honestly, Amazon really screwed up a big opportunity that they had with anime. I think if they would have just kept it, you have Amazon, everything, that's the paywall. Like, there shouldn't be any more paywalls. I think if they would have kept it that way, there are obviously more people to watch these shows, and I think their anime platform would have been at a larger consumer base at this point if they would have kept it that way.
But their answer to this whole thing just seems to be picking up more anime and more anime.
Yeah, they are, and it's exclusive to their site.
Yeah, I think the thing
you can't see it anywhere else.
The thing that worries me about that is that it probably means that they're making money from it. If they're picking up more anime, it means that it's working. It means that people are signing up for the service.
I feel like that was the main complaint at the beginning, because when it first came out, I looked at it and there was everything that's already on Crunchyroll and then Scum's Wish. And at that point, I was like, I'll just wait for Scum's Wish to finish and then I'll get the 7-day trial, kill it in a day.
Yeah, but I think honestly, I think Crunchyroll and Funimation they have a little bit more than this does. They have a huge catalog, especially because they're kind of combined.
Yeah, that's why it gives me sort of the impression that either one of them is probably going to pick up Koei no Katachi at this point, especially because it's so late. And it seems like Crunchyroll first like they have this expo happening in August, I think, in San Francisco. I might be going to it, but they haven't announced like anything. They're just like, we're having an expo and it's in this venue and it's gonna happen that time at that day, and there are guests coming, but we have not announced it, and it's in 2 months.
Yeah, that is pretty weird. I mean, Crunchyroll have connections to a lot of guests. I mean, they have connections to a lot of like the Trigger people and all that. So I guess they could get them to come down. Other than that, there isn't really many people you could get in 2 months.
Yeah, so my guess was either we're gonna get Koei no Katachi there, or I saw that Crunchyroll teased. I think it was Crunchyroll. They're teasing like Shelter, like the music video for Porter Robinson merchandise. So either like Koei no Katachi or Porter Robinson playing music there is my guess.
But the thing is, I mean, a almost older than a year old film isn't really that much of an incentive to go to this convention when you could just find it on Kiss Anime or any other pirate site.
I assume if Crunchyroll is the one picking it up, they'll probably put out some like merch or something on their like site.
Yeah,
they do have their own dedicated store.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Crunchyroll do have a history of picking up Kyoto Animation shows as well. I believe they picked up Myriad Colors Phantom World and Free. I think they were like some of the first shows that they delved into the whole like anime licensing thing over just like acquiring the Western licenses. They acquired those straight from Japan. So it might be interesting to see if they do get it.
Yeah, but I think another thing about that is that remember when they started to license all this stuff and they said, oh yeah, Crunchyroll, we're going to release DVDs and Blu-rays of these shows, and that never happened, and Funimation joined in. It might be them now that'll license it.
Yeah, what even happened to those like shows that were announced to be released on DVD by Crunchyroll?
I have no idea. I think what that whole deal with Funimation is you don't release DVDs, but we'll give you some of our shows on your service. I think that's honestly what that deal was.
My guess is that they kind of want people to stay subscribed to the service. Because I always feel like Crunchyroll is more of a streaming service, while Funimation, I feel like more people buy their anime from Funimation rather than stream it there. Because Funimation's player was like pretty bad for the longest time. I'm unsubscribed now, so I don't know if it's gotten any better.
Oh, it's way better now. It's the Funimation Now service, I think, is just as good as Crunchyroll, if not better than Crunchyroll.
I just remember when Funimation Now relaunched, like slightly after, it was either after Akiba Fest or after Crunchyroll or after Anime Expo last year. There was like really weird lighting issues with the player where like anime just came out really dark looking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the UK where Funimation, they're starting to like try and make their way here. I believe they released My Hero Academia on Blu-ray here. I think they've also done some other Blu-ray things here, but like other than that, they haven't done anything on their own. They also brought Funimation Now, but it's not really that much of an incentive. It's more just dubbed stuff, and I haven't watched a dub in years. So, yeah, Funimation isn't that much of an incentive here in the UK. I just mainly use Crunchyroll, and then if I can't find something, I will find it elsewhere. But I do feel like there should be more actual competition with these streaming services, like, because Crunchyroll Amazon are aiming to compete with like Crunchyroll and all that, but I don't see how anyone's really going to sign up to their service if they're just holding anime hostage behind a $100 a year paywall. But the thing is, if they are getting more anime, it does seem to be working. I mean, they went from having Cabinet of the Iron Fortress this time last year to now they've got 5-10 exclusives.
Yeah, like Onihei and stuff like that.
They're slowly building it up.
Pardon?
I said they're slowly building it up.
Yeah. And things like that just worries me because it's actually been successful.
Now, with Amazon just like exclusively getting the rights to these anime, does that mean they also have home video rights too? Like, I'm kind of confused.
No. I'm not sure about the Noitanima ones, but a lot of their like exclusive rights they've got through Sentai.
Oh, okay.
So they have some kind of deal with Sentai Filmworks. So Sentai Filmworks still own the home video licenses to a lot of them, but then it's just they either get weak exclusivity to Amazon or they are permanently exclusive to Amazon.
Okay.
So yeah, all the ones like How to Raise, I think How to Raise a Normal, Beautiful, or I don't know, Saikano, I think is the Japanese name. They have exclusive rights to that. They have exclusive rights to like Scum's Wish, Cabaneri, things like that, but they don't have nothing else. They have exclusive rights to.
Oh, do you know what sucks?
What?
You know that one anime, Seikano?
Yeah,
Seikano?
yeah, Saikano.
The first season's on Crunchyroll, but the second season's exclusive to Anime Strike.
Well, something that's interesting is that Crunchyroll went on the production board for Cabaneri Iron Fortress. It wasn't on their subscription service.
It is now.
Yeah, it is now, but they own that series in America, yet they did not have the rights to stream it when it was up.
Oh, jeez.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is really weird. So they were involved in the decision making on the series, yet didn't have the actual series up on their actual streaming service. Anyway, we went a bit off track.
It went from the movie to licensing to like, where the hell is it going to come to in America?
And it's not even relevant to me because I'm not even in your country. Be right back. Just gonna go and buy it on iTunes. Even though I own the Japanese Blu-ray and I don't have a very good way to spend my money because Japanese overpriced.
I'm holding out that Funimation gets it and makes like this $40 collector's edition.
Oh, Funimation collector's editions aren't good though. Like,
yeah, but they're cheap. I think I'm alright with that at this point. I just want the fucking film.
I think like the My Hero Academia one included like a notebook. It's just like, why? I
fully expect to get a purple box with the manga cover in anime form, and then a shitty notebook that's like slightly wet inside the box.
My Code Geass collector's edition, which is like worth like now. It's like a chipboard set, which is, you know, nice, but that's probably like worth honestly like probably $60. But it also came with art cards, and that's it. That's the collector's edition.
See,
one of the most popular anime of all time.
When Funimation, I think it was Funimation. Didn't they release a? No, that was Sentai. Sentai did Beyond the Boundary.
Yeah, and they included like the glasses.
They did like they're like a fucking red glasses. I'm like, oh, I don't care.
See, what should come in a collector's edition should be a nice art box, an art book. There, you've made a decent collector's edition. That's why
I like the Anipalex's first volume of Erase. It was like the Blu-ray, I believe it was like in a fancy box, an art book, and then like the first volume of the manga, English translated before it actually came out in America.
It's pretty cool.
See, yeah, stuff like that is interesting. Where it's just like, hey, you get your disc. Also, why do they still want to include DVDs? No one wants that. No one uses DVDs anymore. Just save me the extra like $2 that it makes for manufacturing.
Yeah, we need those Blu-ray 4K editions now. Even though they're not rendered in 4K entirely. Yeah,
like most anime is made in like 720p. other than Kyoto Animation stuff.
Yeah, I was reading up on the Kimi no Nawa one thing, because I pre-ordered the 4K Blu-ray version, and it's like rendered at it's rendered essentially at 2K.
Yeah.
So it's not true 4K. It's just upscaled from 2K to 4K.
Unless they probably could go back and re-render like some of the visual effects and make them look a bit prettier, but like you can't go back and do the animation again. But then I guess animation at like 1080p, that's pretty much the best. Like solid colors are gonna look anyway, solid colors and lines.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sad they have to buy an Xbox One S now just to fucking play a Japanese anime.
Wait, you don't have a One S? I thought you had one.
No, I have an original, and I was holding off on the One X. But like, I might just buy a 1S, watch this film, and then return it.
You know what would be a nice thing for collector's editions? If they would give us a soundtrack. That's like all I want is a nice soundtrack.
Oh, I have
give me a freaking vinyl just lit on it.
Yeah. Just duct tape that son of a gun to that DVD.
I actually have the even though I hated the film, I have the Kimi no Na wa vinyl just because I really like the soundtrack.
It's so good. I love Radwimps, man.
Did Radwimps do much before Kimi no Na wa? Because they sort of blew up because of that, at least in the West, anyway.
I heard they're popular in the UK.
Really?
Like, yeah, because Makoto Shinkai at the AX premiere was like, yeah, a lot of my fans were like, you should hit up Radwimps. Like, I think he was at like a UK meetup or something, and fans from the UK, while he was outside, were like, we really like Radwimps, so like that's what brought him upon them.
Wow, I did not know that.
Radwimps hasn't even done like any other like theme songs or openings or EDs except for like a music video on mine. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty much your guys' fault. So good job. I like the music, so thank you.
I like the music as well. Oh, crap! They had a UK tour in 2015.
There we go. That's how it happened.
Wow. Okay. Today I learned.
Exactly. That Q&A was very interesting. It was cringe at the start, but it got better.
Yeah, I mean, I like Makoto Shinkai. I feel bad for him that he hates his movie.
I like it. I do feel like I guess it's very intimidating. I mean, it's like.
Yeah, but it must be.
Not to toot my own horn, but like if a bunch of people were like, "Yo, your channel's better than this," I'm like, it's okay, man. Just like I don't think it's better than that. It's all right, you know.
Especially when people are like looking up to you, like calling you like the next Miyazaki. It must be like scary because you're just like trying to make. I'm just trying to make a cute film, guys. You don't need to call me the next Miyazaki.
Like as a YouTuber, it's really weird when people are like, "Yo, this review's better than IGN or GameSpot." I'm like, I mean, they work into their shit, man. It's cool, man. You can like both of our stuff, but you don't have to like put me on the pedestal.
No, but the thing is, imagine that. But then you get 10 times the amount of views as GameSpot, GameSpot, and IGN, and you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, I have to assume, like, the equivalent of what they're telling Shinkai is like, oh, you made a nice cartoon. It's better than, like, anything Walt Disney's ever put out. And you're like, oh, okay. Thanks for that.
See, the people seem to, like, misinterpret my opinions on Kimi no Na wa. I don't like the film. I'm not going to say I love the film. It's a well-directed film. It's fucking beautiful. It has a great soundtrack. It's just a lot of the story and writing in it is awful, and that just ruins the whole thing for me. Makoto Shinkai is a great director. Some of his like short film stuff is amazing. I think he did weirdly enough, I love all his short films about dead cats. If he makes a short film about a dead cat, I will be all over that shit. If he makes a feature film about a dead cat, I will love it. But everything that he makes about cats dying is all great. Watch all cats dying Makoto Shinkai films. They're all good.
I also really like 5 centimeters. But I do.
That's essentially the prologue to Kimi no Na wa.
I mean, the 5 centimeters per second manga, what's also made by Makoto Shinkai, so that gives me faith in like his writing ability is amazing. Like it fleshes out the characters a lot more than the film. I think the film just doesn't have enough time, and the manga does. The manga just feels a lot more like comfortable and relaxed, where I think the film just sort of felt a bit rushed. I do think that watching Kimi no Na wa did give me more of an appreciation for 5 centimeters per second and made me like it a lot more than I did before. Because before I felt like it was too like melodramatic or some weird buzzword like that. But then like after watching it, it did feel like a lot of my problems with Kimi no Na wa were sort of fixed in 5 centimeters per second.
I'm curious, do you guys like the first part of 5 centimeters per second more, or the second part, like the winter or the summer kind of part? You know what I'm talking about?
Because it's when he meets up with the girl when they're young. The second one's when they reunite, and then the third one's like some other girl from like.
No, they don't ever reunite, do they? They do at the end.
It's the same part. They reunite. They're still young. They're like, I would say they're children, then teens, and then they reunite at the very, very old. Like they're in the same area at the very end.
Yeah.
But technically, don't reunite.
What's part do you like the most? Like, just curious.
Probably the ending because I love me some heartbreaks. I like seeing this guy get his ass kicked. Just like
One More Time,
completely
One More
torn apart.
Chance.
Oh my god, I had that song on YouTube Red for like the longest time.
So what, you like heartbreak anime? Do you like feeling?
Yeah, man, just get that song for the ending of 5 centimeters per second. Get the ending of Huey no Nawa, and then don't have them turn around and then play the song.
And play
That's my film right there.
And play achy breaky heart in the background.
Oh, fuck that. That would probably be more fitting into something like Koe no Katachi, where it's more Americanized music.
What? It's just like Shoya, just like
Play that.
Shoya about
Shoya's getting her ass kicked outside the hospital.
Fucking hell.
Let me direct some films, man.
Give Luis a giant anime budget. Make Luis and Makoto Shinkai collaborate. It's a pretty film, but it's just like little lollies getting their hearts broken left and right.
Exactly. It's like it would be exactly like 5 centimeters per second, only longer. And then when the train passes by at the end of that film, there would be a dead cat there where the train just passed by.
And then I would give it a 10 out of 10.
Exactly.
Gotta feature the dead cat.
Gotta cater to my audience.
Anyway, I think we can end this with more discussion about Silent Voice, because for a podcast about discussing Silent Voice, we haven't done much Silent Voice discussing.
It's what did I say? It's a good film. I love the music. I think the one thing, as someone that really loves romance, I wish there was like an elaborated scene at the end of the film, because I read the manga first, and the manga doesn't go into much detail with like their possible relationship, other than like let's go to the same place together and like presumably get married and live together forever. it's up into interpretation.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see more context of that in the film.
I feel like a lot of people like the manga better because it explores more after the film ends, but I feel like the manga just doesn't end at the right place anyway, and either the film does a completely original ending where it doesn't make much sense, or it ends there, because I feel like that's the better place to end it. I feel like that's the more emotional place to end it. I feel like that's sort of the end,
especially with the song at the end. I think it's very fitting.
Yeah, and I do think that the manga does sort of feel like the journey of Shoko and Shoya, when the film sort of does put Shoko a bit to the like side and does focus on like the narrative of Shoya. It's Shoya's story. It's not Shoko and Shoya's story. It's how Shoko helps Shoya. Well, I feel like a lot of people liked Shoko a lot as a character and wanted to sort of see her personality more. But then I do sort of think that the story of Shoya is what the whole thing is really about in the long run. It's rather not about Shoko.
No, definitely. It's him about becoming like a real person or learning to be himself, because he's always had. Well, he was a kid, so like he didn't really know who he was as a kid. He was just an asshole, and then as an adult, he's so sheltered because of how he was as a kid.
Yeah, and I feel like Shoko was like 0.9 times a weaker character in the film than the manga, but then Shoya was like 10 times more of a stronger character in the film. So I feel like it was a little bit of sacrifice of Shoko just to make up of so much with Shoya, and I just didn't like Shoya in the manga. I just didn't feel like it just felt like something was not. He feels awkward in both, but he felt like an awkward character in the manga when he felt like an awkward person in the film.
I think even at the end of the manga, you could still feel like, even though he's better than he was at the beginning of the manga, like there's still that awkwardness to him by the end of the manga.
Yeah,
like it still feels a bit fragile.
Yeah, and then at the film, it's not like, oh, I'm miraculously cured of my crippling depression, but it's like I
think he learns to deal with it.
Yeah,
he has like a shimmer of hope now.
Yeah, and I think that's what the main thing is that he has hope. When like in the manga, it's just like he's less of an asshole before, time to live life, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's why they need to like that extra scene or like a time skip or something.
Yeah,
just to like give me some confirmation.
just to show where they are, so Luis can get his full ship on. He can sail his ship.
Yeah, man, give me like that quarter. Actually, no, never mind, that wouldn't work because it was the husband that was Brazilian. I was like, give me that quarter, like Asian black kid.
Oh, Maria.
Yeah, Maria. I love Maria in this film. She's so adorable. She's like, did you die? Or it's like, you're alive.
Great thing to say to your sort of. Wait, what is he to her? It's her. It's his sister. Yeah.
It's his niece. And his sister's never home, but his like super like out of the blue Brazilian boyfriend is there.
One thing that I do miss from the manga that I wish was in the film is when Shoya scribbles on a dog's face and it's like a dog with like giant eyebrows. I thought that was adorable, and I'm annoyed that wasn't in the film.
Or why it was cut out.
God damn it, 1 out of 10. Manga's so much better. Cut out dog with eyebrows.
I feel like I need to go reread the manga because there's scenes that like I want to see if they skipped out that I just don't remember because I skimmed it after seeing it, but I didn't really dive into it again.
Yeah,
I still haven't even touched the manga yet. I've only seen the anime.
I think you should like check it out just for comparison. But then I just feel like it's just such it's less of a mature story. Like I think part of it comes from it being published in a shonen magazine, so it does sort of need to cater to that like young male demographic. Mm-hmm. When the film was more catered to wider audiences and like more of like everyone than a like shonen young boy demographic. But I just feel like a lot of the stories like oversimplified. It's just like, oh, his friends betray him and they write like "fuck you" on your desk. It's just laughable to me, a lot of the stuff in the manga.
The one take was all about their childhood. It wasn't even like entering the adulthood, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's what's confusing to me, because wasn't that supposed to be like a prototype to get the manga published?
It was a one take in a magazine, and then I think it did well to the point where she was like, okay, now I gotta make up a story about how, it leads up to after this.
What I find weird about that is, why would people enjoy like a weird one take of like a little deaf girl getting bullied?
People love tragedy, man. That's why they love Makoto Shinkai.
I mean, Makoto Shinkai's not really tragic.
Man, at that Q&A I went to at AX last year, like, the first question wasn't even a question. It was like, I was totally thinking of killing myself 2 years ago, but your films helped me.
Fuck.
And I was like, his films are all sad, though, dude. How did they help you?
Wait, someone said that to Makoto Shinkai?
Yeah, and so, like...
That's the most awkward thing.
What was his response? Like...
He was like, arigato. It was just like, this man comes to America for, like, I don't know if it's his first time, but like he comes to premiere his movie and like the first comment's like, I was suicidal 2 years ago and I found your films and they helped me cope. I'm like, well, damn, way to fucking put the guy on the spot, man.
That must be the most awkward thing.
Yeah, and then that guy went back to Japan and then tried to find his deaf girl from elementary school and tried to redeem himself. That suicidal man was named Shoya.
Anyway,
it's all in the cinematic anime universe.
Oh god, the Arrow manga cinematic universe that now features Sword Art Online, Oriyama. Oh. Anyway, let's move on to a bit of a different topic for the last little bit. Arrow Manga Sensei, it's just finished.
Yo, I just finished that. Oh my god.
Same. I just watched the last 4 episodes.
I saw your Minecraft tweet about it. Oh my god.
Shit,
why? Who wakes up in the morning is like, you know what would be super fucking cool? If I recreate the intro to Eroge manga in Minecraft Cinema 4D.
The thing is, someone had to spend like so long on that.
Yeah, hours upon hours upon hours.
Because like I don't know much about 3D animation. I know a lot more about 2D than 3D, but I've learned like things like Maya. I know the basics in them. I used to do 3D modeling, less animation, but it's just like I get that you could just download the rigs online, but like just the animation, it must have taken like at least 25 hours. and they just spent that on making the Minecraft era manga sensei opening,
Yeah.
and it's just like
even the backgrounds are like fully. Again, it looks like exactly like the OP.
At one point, this person was working on this, and his mom came in with some cheese crackers. He's like, "Not now, Mom. I'm busy creating art.
I'm working."
The thing is, like, I wasn't sure, like, when Zach first that was like legitimately like a part of the opening, or that was a fan creation for a second.
I gotta give it credit though. I love the songs. I'm not gonna lie. I love the intro and outro.
You know what?
Claris is god tier, so
Yeah, I love Claris. They're showing the what's it called, the video concert at AX where they show their faces, so that's pretty hype.
Holy crap, really?
Oh, they're doing a face reveal?
Well, they did a face reveal back in Japan a few months ago, I think in February.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I don't keep up with this stuff.
And no one filmed it. So, like,
yeah,
like
you know, like all the kind Japanese aren't gonna film it, but then when it goes to America,
Japanese people are like, "Oh, no cell phones, no problem. It's cool." But you know, here at AX, the people that ran the concert filmed it, and they're doing a video concert here at AX. You know, like within the first 30 minutes, that's just gonna be on YouTube. Like immediately, because America is filled with bad people.
Yeah, I mean, they're like quite young. Weren't they in like middle school when they did the Oriamo opening?
Well, it was two different people back then. It was was it Alice?
I've couldn't know.
It was two different girls. Like one of them left, pretty much. So the new one was at the concert this year. If I recall.
Oh, fucking hell! Some Claris drama.
Yeah, it looks like you need to go back to school and relearn your Claris.
The Claris lore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Luis. Final question: who is best Aramonga girl?
Yo, I'm 21, dude. These are what, 14-year-olds?
Oh, it's fine. It's anime. Sagiri's 12, but it's fine.
I'm gonna say Kuroneko because she's in it. I have to assume she's like probably old enough by now.
I mean, aren't like all your top waifus like 14? Ram is like 14. Asuna like starts the game at like 15.
I count the years since released.
I mean, they don't age with the thing.
Dude, at least go to 16 because it's the age of.
I mean,
I actually don't even remember any of the fucking names of the characters in Eroge manga. Like I know Sagadi's the sister. I know the blonde girl's just called Elf.
Elf Yamada.
And then everyone else I don't know. I'm gonna go with the girl that knows what the penis looks like because she seems to be the most mature and happens to know. Yeah, and she knows what a chin-chin looks like. And she could draw fucking David.
Yeah, but it isn't that all bullshit? Like, she doesn't know what a dick looks like, she's just pretending. I know way too much about this show.
You're too deep into the lore of
this.
Zach, you might as well spill the beans right now. This is your anime of the year.
I'm not even fucking lying. Yeah, it is so far. To be quite honest, nothing has caught my attention. I'm watching right now. I just finished Eroge manga, and then I'm catching up on My Hero Academia because I skipped the first season last year because I'm not too into action. And now this season or this year so far has been so dry that I'm going back to last year and watching My Hero, and then probably catching up to season 2.
It's so freaking good. Season 1 blows, but season 2 like is actually amazing.
This is like action's not my genre of choice. I like sad. Mm-hmm. I like romance. I like comedy. I like slice of life. Nothing has caught my attention since like ReZero probably like fully grabbed it.
Yeah, it's just like so far my favorite anime this year is Komodo Friends, like my favorite non-sequel anime, and it's just like that's a CG, horribly CG animated show about weird furries who
in a park.
Yeah, in a park.
Yeah, like when you told me to watch that, like that sounds like something Saul would like, and that's like our friend on my Discord who's like into furry stuff.
Okay, so what it's about is that it's about this like little girl who wakes up, and she's like the only human, and then there's these things called friends, and these are sort of like animals who don't really know how this world works.
I love that you have to explain to me what a friend is.
And then
Furry friends.
And then they go like in these misadventures, and then the one human just sort of like knows how to use like all the human remains left in the world. So like all these like buildings are all built by humans, and then these like friend creatures who are like half animal, half human are just sort of confused by them. And then the show is sort of like about like solving the mystery of this world, and then in the end they figure it out, and it's trippy as fuck. Basically, sort of spoiling it, the world is post-apocalyptic because Kimono
Holy
Friends
fuck.
is based.
Yo, is this Adventure Time the anime?
Adventure Time is like one of my favorite things, and I think this is better than Adventure Time.
Well, I got bored of Adventure Time after like season 5.
When Adventure Time was like subtle storytelling, it was great. When it like started going full on more stuff, it's just like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, quick round of Kimono Friends. It is a post-apocalyptic world because the anime is based on a smartphone game, and the smartphone game died before the anime like was properly in production. So they made the entire world that the smartphone game is based in just be completely dead.
That's crazy. That's like meta.
Yeah. So
I
yeah.
don't know, I'm probably still not gonna watch it, to be honest.
Anyway, we hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, why not join our Discord and call Rob a bitch in there?
Yeah. And subscribe. That'd be cool.
Or don't. We make shit content. It's fine. Anyway, goodbye.